This is Andy Cotterill from MMA.ca here in Halifax, Nova Scotia with TJ Grant, victorious, freshly just 24 hours removed from his incredible first-round knockout of Gray Maynard at UFC 160. TJ, congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, couldn't have went any better, really.
I watched all the post-fight video interviews with you, with other reporters, and it seems like you're almost at a loss for words to describe the feelings that you went through last night. So that was 24 hours ago. You've had a whole day to think about it. So can you explain to the fans and anybody out there what it was like going into a fight with such importance to your career, your first main event showcase for the UFC, and winning in such dominating fashion against a fighter who a lot of people thought was going to beat you?
I've had opportunities in the past in my career, just slipped through my fingers, and I felt like this is my time, this is my moment, and honestly, I wasn't going to let anything get in my way, and I was pretty emotional before the fight and leading up to it, and I had a pretty inspired performance. I wanted to go out there and I made it personal. I wanted to hurt him and all that other stuff, and it was just, for me, it was I wasn't holding anything back, and I wasn't going to, sit there and look back, down the road and say, what if I did this? I wanted to cover all the bases and go out there and do my thing, and everything worked out great for me.
One of the fears always from every fighter is to waste an opportunity. You said you went into that fight knowing that you had to give it your all. There's also the chance, we've seen it in the past before with guys like Eric Koch. He was lined up for a title fight against Jose Aldo. That never materialized. You were probably worried at some point that it was possible that even if you won this fight, you wouldn't have gotten that chance. But in the post-fight, in the press conference, UFC President Dana White said that he wanted to see you do something impressive, and you did exactly that, and he has guaranteed you the next title shot against champion Benson Henderson. That's got to be a big relief, knowing that is coming close.
Hey, that was huge to hear the words come out of his mouth, and I do this to become the champion, and I'll fight whoever is put in front of me, but it's definitely great to really just see everything you've been working for is kind of there in front of me now, and it's there for the taking, and I'm focused. I'm at a good place in my career, and the opportunities, they don't come around like this, and I'm going to make the best of it.
In some of the media leading up to the event, it seemed like Gray Maynard was talking a lot about Benson Henderson and wasn't talking about you. Do you felt that he overlooked you?
You know what? Hey, I'll tell you, I didn't overlook him. As soon as I heard the press conference after the last UFC when Dana was talking about the winner would get a title shot. I didn't need any extra motivation, and I read one of his interviews that said that was a kick in the butt for him, and look, I didn't need it. Whether it was a title shot on the line or not, I was focused. I was ready to fight Gray Maynard, and if you want to overlook somebody in the UFC when you're potentially fighting for a title shot, then that's on you. But for me, I mean, all I can say is speak for myself, and I was focused, and I didn't even look at Benson.
One of the very first things you said in your in-cage interview with Joe Rogan after the fight was that you thanked your coach, Scott MacLean. He's been your longtime coach. You've been with him for years and years. I don't think he's very much appreciated, or necessarily people recognize the level that and the stuff that he brings to your game. Before the event, before he even left for Vegas, Scott told me basically how that fight was going to unfold. He had it planned out. He knew exactly what was going to happen. It's got to feel good having that kind of confidence in a coach that can sort of lay things out for you. And you said you'd planned your combination that you won the fight with. That was in your blueprint the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that we kind of had to, you got to really respect a guy like Gray early, and the plan was to kind of respect him a little more than I did probably. Give him the first 3 minutes kind of, and it didn't work out. I mean, hey, I took care of business. I got him out of there in 3 minutes. But, Scott's done a great job, and everything, I don't watch a lot of film. I watch like 1 or 2 fights. Sometimes I watch more. I try to get an idea of what their mind is when they're fighting, how they think, when they get discouraged, stuff like that. And I saw all I needed to see, and I let Scott, come up with the game plan, and he did a good job with it, because a lot of the things that we talked about were there in the fight, and they were there right from the beginning. And fighters have habits. I have habits. I try to change them. I try to always bring something new to the table every time out, and some guys don't.
It seems like Gray is always given a lot of respect by everybody who talks about him as being extremely heavy-handed, and yet he seemed to catch you. Well, he did catch you with a couple stinging shots in that fight, but you just pushed right through it and you kept on fighting. Did he not hit as hard as you thought, or once he did hit you, did you just not care and throw caution to the wind?
He definitely hits hard. Like they were heavy. They like my ears were ringing after one shot, but I was still there. I was fine. I had my legs. It's one thing like when you're rocked. There's another thing when just the punch hurt. It just hurt. Like it's painful. Let's do it. I thought it was important that I get hit by him because I needed to be able to stand in there and risk getting hit because I can hit him in those moments, and I wasn't going to be afraid of Gray, and I felt like I can hit just as hard, just in a different way, and that was kind of my plan, and just discourage him from the very beginning, and I think before I even landed a punch, I won that fight.
The next question, I'm not even going to make it a question. I'm just going to say 2 words and see what you have to say. Mike Tyson. He's
the man. Mike Tyson is like, I obviously been a huge fan of Mike Tyson's growing up and stuff like that, and I'm happy to see him just with his life where he's at and the place he's at, and it's just good to see, and I mean get to meet a guy like that, and for the way everything unfolded last night, it was unbelievable. I can't believe that that happened the way it did, and nothing but respect for the champ.
For the fans who don't know what you mean by you didn't know that would happen the way it did, you were hoping that you would get the knockout of the night bonus until the Junior Dos Santos fight happened, and then finish your story from there.
Well, yeah. After my fight, I jumped up on the cage, and Dana and all those guys were standing down there, and Mike Tyson, and Dana looked up at me and he pointed at Mike, and he says you should get knockout of the night. So when he said that, I kind of thought I was going to get it. And then the knockout happened in the heavyweight fight, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And you know what? I'm happy. Hey, he got a bonus as well, so we're all happy here. Exactly.
Okay, I know it's late. We're at the airport. You just got home. 2 final questions for you. First one is the last thing you said in the cage before you stepped out was you said, Casey Grant, this one's for you, baby. Of course, that is your actual baby, Casey Grant, a brand new baby girl. How does it feel knowing that you went in there and you took care of business for your family?
It's awesome. Like I said, I was pretty emotional before the fight. I never really felt the same way before a fight as I did last night. I knew I trained my butt off, and there was nothing going to stand in my way. If I lost, I lost. It's because I fought a better fighter, and I was inspired, and I really made it personal with Gray. Like I didn't have any disrespect for him. I just made it personal, and I wanted to make it personal because he's trying to, basically take things from me, and I want to provide for my family, and I'm just incredibly happy just to be at the place I'm at in life.
That's great to hear. Very last question. Of course, we are Canadian. This is Canada. Our national pastime is hockey. Who's your pick to win the NHL Stanley Cup?
Oh, man. Who's still in the play? No. I would have to say, geez, man. Boston or Pittsburgh. I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I have to go
There
Pittsburgh.
You go. TJ Grant has Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Okay. Well, TJ, that's all I've got for you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time. I know you made a lot of Canadians, a lot of people from Cole Harbour and Nova Scotia extremely happy. Congratulations on a beautiful win.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
This is Andy Cotterill with MMA.ca and TJ Grant in Halifax, Nova Scotia.